Hello and welcome to Jamo Games channel. Today we present to you best upcoming survival games 2022 and beyond. Please click like button and subscribe for more videos. So let's begin. V Rising. Anyone holding out for Vampire the Masquerade 2 can now also add V Rising to their calendar of upcoming vampire game releases. In it, you take on the role of an awakened vampire who's been asleep for hundreds of years but rises once again to seize their rightful place at the throne. To survive, players will have to raid nearby settlements for food and other resources as well as rebuild their castle and convert humans into loyal servants. It's all depicted in a unique and stylized aesthetic that benefits from online multiplayer support that you can check out early by signing up for an upcoming beta. The Day Before. The Day Before is an upcoming open-world MMO about trying to survive in a deadly post-pandemic United States overrun by flesh-hungry infected and untrustworthy survivors. After your character awakes with amnesia, they set out to uncover the truth while scavenging for resources to stay alive. You'll explore a beautiful world plunged into chaos and search abandoned vehicles, houses, and buildings looking for useful items and defending yourself from enemies. So far, the game looks surprisingly polished despite not having a confirmed release date, leaving us a bit skeptical as to whether the full game will be as consistent. Sons of the Forest. For those unfamiliar, The Forest is an ambitious survival horror game that focuses on crafting and combat with surprisingly intelligent enemy AI. Like many survival games, the story is fairly non-linear, but there was always enough to chew on for players interested in learning about the game's creatures and setting. For the sequel, developer Endling Games looks to be expanding the universe with new characters and events revolving around yet another mysterious island. In addition to better graphics and more fluid combat, Sons of the Forest will be a more team-focused endeavor than the original, which added online multiplayer post-launch. S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. The S.T.A.L.K.E.R games are known for getting nitty-gritty with their approach to surviving in post-apocalyptic open worlds. While they've always been reminiscent of games like Metro and even Fallout RPGs to some extent, the series suddenly disappeared after just 3 releases. S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 will see players venturing into the zone in irradiated wasteland surrounding the Chernobyl nuclear disaster site. The area stands out for its high radiation levels, which causes scavengers to develop supernatural abilities that affect traversal and combat. Frostpunk 2. Considering Frostpunk was a massive hit for 11-bit studios, it was only a matter of time until we got a sequel to the city builder survival game. Set 30 years after the apocalyptic blizzard that thrust humanity into hardship, Frostpunk 2 sees you playing as the leader of a new metropolis on the brink of collapse. In order to keep your population alive, you'll have to hunt down a new source of power in the form of oil while navigating political divisions within your community. Much like the original, players can expect to have to make tough sacrifices along the way, all for the sake of providing humanity with a better future. Winter Survival Simulator. If you're anything like us, then you love diving into the weirdest simulation games PC gaming has to offer. This includes Winter Survival Simulator, an upcoming survival sim that sees players attempting to brave the harsh environments of Mount Washington State Park. Lost and with little to no supplies, you'll have to work tirelessly to survive the bitter cold and hostile wildlife with persisting hunger and thirst. While developer Drago Entertainment has yet to provide a release date, there's currently a demo you can check out now on Steam. Ixion. Ixion is an ambitious-looking game that looks to combine city building, survival elements, and unbridled exploration in one thrilling space opera package. In it, you take control of the administrator of the Tikin space station as they're entrusted with finding a new home for humanity. Looking to the stars, players will have to keep the station in working order while traveling across the galaxy, searching for new resources and habitable planets. Throughout your journey, you'll come across random in-game events that will force you to adapt as well as encounter other survivors willing to aid you in your mission. Hazel Sky. In Hazel Sky, you take on the role of a young engineer tasked with overcoming the challenges that await him on an abandoned island. Your journey sees you exploring every inch of the island in search of spare parts that can be combined to create mechanically dazzling machines. The goal is to build a device that will allow you to escape the island and make it back home in one piece, though we're counting on plenty of twists and turns along the way. Despite Hazel Sky's mechanics-driven premise, its story also shows a lot of promise, and we're eager to learn more about its main protagonist Shane. Wild West Dynasty. Reminiscent of cowboy games like Red Dead Redemption 2 with a survival management sim twist, Wild West Dynasty is definitely worth keeping on your radar. In it, players are tasked with building their own ranch while surviving any obstacle the Old West throws their way. The game includes a dedicated story mode with hundreds of missions to tackle as well as customizable town building and even a horse you can ride. While further details are scarce at the moment, we can count on developer Virtual Magic to provide more information early next year. System Shock Redux. When the original System Shock was released in 1994, critics praised the game's relatively realistic physics and the scale of its 3D environments. Today, the series is remembered for elevating the first-person genre, even though its success was short-lived. Fortunately, developer Night Dive Studios is looking to bring the original back to life with a backer-funded remake currently in the works. The remake will yet again see us controlling a resourceful hacker as they explore a space station brimming with terrifying creatures and a hostile AI named Shodan. Endling. Endling tells a not-so-uplifting tale about a near future where the world falls into ruin on account of mankind's negative impact on ecosystems. Presented as a 3D side-scroller, the game focuses on the destructive nature of the human race by casting you as the last remaining fox on Earth. With resources scarce, you're forced to do whatever it takes to care for your pups while keeping yourself alive in a hostile world teeming with predators and other dangers. However, your world truly comes crashing down when one of your pups gets taken, forcing you to rely on its scent to track down the kidnapper. Survival Machine. Another co-op survival game that shows promise is Survival Machine, a third-person open-world game from indie developer Grape Pickers. In it, you and your friends traverse ever-changing lands via a massive vehicle that also serves as your base of operations. Gameplay evolves around building, upgrading, and fortifying the machine to ward off zombies that try to overtake it at night. Along with outfitting your machine with cannons, spikes, and other traps, you can craft weapons and armor to defend yourself while you're out exploring the world. Occupy Mars the game. If you like your survival games to have highly technical gameplay systems, Occupy Mars might be right up your alley. The game sees you exploring the Red Planet in hopes of establishing a colony for future generations to inhabit. Your job is to build and upgrade your base, research nearby regions, gather resources, grow crops, generate oxygen, and much, much more. There's an emphasis on realism and simulation, but not to the point of being unforgiving. That said, expect plenty of deaths early on as you come to grips with life on Mars. Deathverse Let It Die. Deathverse Let It Die is an upcoming multiplayer survival action game that acts as a continuation of Super Trick Games' 2016 title Let It Die. In it, players are thrust into battle as part of a mysterious survival TV reality show dubbed Death Jamboree. Set in a virtual world known as the Deathverse, it sees players competing for survival against other contestants using a shape-shifting robotic device called Wilson. The Wilson can transform into various weapons and gadgets including a drone, protective shield, and modified stun gun. Smalland. As much as we love Grounded, there's enough room for two small-scale survival games that let us live out our fantasies and nightmares of being shrunk down and let loose in a sprawling backyard sandbox. However, to see the best Smalland's world has to offer, you'll have to brave brutal weather conditions and survive run-ins with various enemies including spiders, birds, rats, lizards, and more. Fortunately, there is an abundance of hidden resources you can use to craft armor, weapons, shelter, and other tools, such as mountable bugs. You can also customize outfits to acquire special resistances and abilities using various workshops at your camp, which can be upgraded over time. State of Decay 3. A third entry in the zombie survival horror series State of Decay is currently in development for Xbox and PC. State of Decay 3 intends to offer the ultimate zombie survival simulation, and judging by the announcement trailer, Undead Labs is off to a great start. Fans can look forward to battling even more undead humans along with a new contender zombie deers. We anticipate the game's graphics benefiting greatly from next-gen hardware and overall shorter load times. The Callisto Protocol. Inspired by classics like System Shock and Dead Space, the Callisto Protocol is an upcoming survival horror game from Striking Distance Studios. In it, players are tasked with escaping the maximum security Black Iron prison while uncovering a host of terrifying secrets. The game looks to blend horror, action, and immersive storytelling, while also setting a new bar for interactive horror as a whole. We've also learned that it takes place in the same universe as PUBG, for reasons unclear. Dead Space Remake. We'd also like to highlight an official upcoming remake of the original Dead Space that's currently in development at Motive Studios. Considering Dead Space 3 released back in 2013, the return of EA's iconic sci-fi horror survival shooter has been long overdue. The remake will breathe fresh life into the 2008 original with completely remade assets, visual effects, expanded dialogue, and more. However, at its core the story remains the same. Engineer Isaac Clarke finds himself aboard a derelict mining vessel whose crew has turned into grotesque monsters. Palworld. Towing the line between weird and genuinely exciting, Palworld is an upcoming open-world RPG from S.T.A.L.K.E.R Games, best known for Craftopia. It puts its own spin on the survival crafting genre by throwing in Pokémon-inspired creature collecting, with various pals for you to tame. Monsters you collect have special powers that can come in hand during battles, farming, building, fishing, and more. While it's a bit jarring to see such adorable creatures appear alongside shotguns, assault rifles, and rocket launchers, there's something so interesting about Palworld's concept. Level 0. Inspired by games like Alien Isolation, Level 0 is an online multiplayer survival horror game that pits humans against terrifying creatures. The main objective for the humans is to try and repair the space station they're currently on while the monsters relentlessly pursue and try to kill them. Both sides come equipped with unique skills and equipment that can come in handy for completing their mission, and it's up to players to decide when and where to use them. If you enjoy fast-paced multiplayer games with plenty of action and competition, make sure to keep this one on your radar before it releases later this year. Thanks guys for watching our video. Clicking a like button is the best way you can help us to show your appreciation. We'd really be grateful for that. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos. We'll see you guys next time.